Piper!
Piper. Piper?
Piper?
This is
Piper? Yeah.
the main character of Bring Her Back.
I can only see shapes and light.
She may be mostly blind, but she isn't helpless. A couple of YouTubers made sure of that. Nobody expected them to pull it off the first time, so they obliterated the expectations. But what happened when they had to do it again? This time, with the whole world watching them.
Even after Talk to Me, we went on the set of Bring It Back, I still was like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And it still feels like that. And you feel inferior to anybody. Like, we get invited to like these parties through A24 and you're surrounded by directors, like proper film directors. Real directors. And it feels like, I don't know why the hell we're in this room right now. We should leave early.
Danny and Michael Philippou burst into professional filmmaking with their impressive directorial debut, Talk to Me, which quickly turned into one of modern horror's most notable and well-received films. But it didn't simply exemplify the current state of the genre through its story or presentation, but through the background of its creators as well, who gained popularity on YouTube long before jumping into major motion pictures. Having first spent years cultivating their own style through amateur filmmaking, the Philippous eventually became far more than what their origins might insinuate, and they now personify the evolution of the creative pipeline, that regardless of where you start, anyone can make a movie.
It's strange to think that because someone's a YouTuber, they can't make a movie. Everyone needs to start somewhere. So it's unfair to judge someone based on what platform they're from. Yeah. If you're a movie maker, you're a movie maker.
And that's exactly what they became. But instead of relaxing after the surprising success of Talk to Me, they decided to take another step forward to overcome the newfound apprehension that comes with expectations. They had to prove that they actually know what they're doing, that Talk to Me wasn't a fluke, that their investors weren't wasting their money, that big-time actors weren't destroying their reputation, that the Philippou brothers are for real.
That was the anxiety of the movie. A, not wanting to let A24 down and make like a piece of shit, and then B, letting Sally Hawkins down because she gave us so much of her soul for this film and gave so much of herself. So that's the big anxiety, is like making a bad film and letting those people down.
So the brothers had quite the challenge, living up to the expectations they created. Instead of immediately returning to the world that brought them to this point though, they developed an entirely new story, one with its own characters and rules, allowing them to innovate and refine their style, shaping it not around the goals of Talk to Me, but of its follow-up, Bring Her Back. You see, the Philippou Sophomore Showcase reused many of the same stylistic techniques from their debut film, most notably their repeated use of a shallow depth of field, especially during close-ups, which they implemented time and time again, whether in a car, or at a party, or next to a street. They blow out the background and isolate the characters so completely that you can't even make out the setting of the shot, where exactly the subject is. Such camera work can create a variety of effects, but it nearly always draws attention to the subject, to what's in focus. But for the Philippou's second feature film, it often has a different purpose. You see, just because Piper can't see doesn't mean she can't sense. She can still hear and smell and touch and even taste. Bring Her Back doesn't simply present her lack of sight, it emphasizes her other senses, drawing attention to how she experiences the world without being able to see its details. From the beginning of the film, we see her directly touching various objects, her way of understanding the environment around her. While we, as viewers, can't feel the wall itself, we can hear the sound of her hand running against it, giving us a more clear idea of its texture, what she feels. Later on, the film sets its climax in the rain, so with all the close-ups and the sound of the droplets splashing into puddles, you can almost feel the texture of the water drenching the scene. Piper also uses sound to navigate the world, both communicating with and listening for other people, recognizing the presence of their voice when they respond to her, as well as its absence when they don't.
Andy?
For smell, characters manipulate Piper by disguising themselves with the signature sprays of other characters, causing Piper to confuse them since she can't rely on her sight to verify the source of what she smells. She may not be able to see who's around her, but she may be able to smell them.
But I smelled you.
Now, we don't get much for taste, but we do see her consume alcohol, specifically commenting on how much she hates it.
Oh, that's disgusting, you drink that!
Finally, for sight, because film is a visual medium, the audience can actually experience the same information as the characters in the story. We may not be able to literally feel the walls that the characters touch or smell the body spray that they wear, but we can see what they see. While the same can be said of sound, Piper doesn't have trouble hearing, so in this case, the one sense that separates Piper from the other characters in the film is her sight, the experience and presentation of which being unique to her. You see, the film uses shallow focus to approximate Piper's perception, her experience with vision, how she can only see broad shapes and light. As opposed to most shots with shallow focus though, in Bring Her Back, it's the parts that are out of focus that we should pay attention to. The blurriness takes up most of the screen, forcing us to decipher the details through the broad shapes and outlines. Even in her introduction, the very first moment we see her, the film establishes Piper's perspective, visualizing how unclearly she sees the world, and we return to this perspective multiple times throughout the film, repeatedly placing us into her point of view for a variety of effects, but each one giving us deeper insight into not only what she feels, but also what she knows. Placing the audience into Piper's perspective through these distorted visuals allows for interesting reveals, and unorthodox discovery of information, and not just for the audience, but for the characters as well, particularly Piper. We might see a potential source of danger lying in the room, but since Piper can't see, that threat simply lingers, until she finds some other way to sense it, or to confirm its identity. These unorthodox reveals through Piper's perspective often add significance to earlier details. You may not have paid much attention to a pair of braces or to the texture of a boy's hair when they were first introduced, but Piper did, and those details become the line between perception and reality. Much like our eyes often confirm the truth of who's around us, Piper's interaction with these details, touching them instead of hearing about them from other characters, confirms the truth of who's around her. And it may not be who she thinks. This simulation of Piper's vision also creates tension by giving the audience information, showing what Piper sees. But paradoxically, this information also reveals the lack of information Piper has, showing what she can't see. It cleverly establishes the difference between what we know and what Piper knows. Bring Her Back's visual techniques deepen the experience of watching the characters, understanding their perspectives, creatively placing the audience into their minds and presenting information in ways that evokes both sympathy and fear. You see, the film uses common techniques for uncommon applications. Usually a film blurs things out because they're unimportant, but here they're often blurry because they are important. Most of the screen is out of focus because that's what we're trying to see. We want to figure out what's in front of us, but just like Piper, we can't. We're just seeing what she is. Thanks for watching.